Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio, and today we are extremely close to having finished our look at all the cards in Sword and Shield. They really did drop a lot of cards in one go, but we're extremely close to finishing. We got a couple of lightning Pokemon, we got a couple of colorless Pokemon. This should be the penultimate video looking at all these Sword and Shield cards, and then they'll start leaking the new set soon, the next set. And I'm excited about that. So let's start off, ladies and gentlemen, with a couple of lightning Pokemon, and let's start off with everybody's favourite, Raichu. Everybody loves Raichu. My daughter's got a Raichu plush. She loves her Raichu plush. What does Raichu do? Well, it's a little bit vanilla. Our translations all come from the lovely David Hockman over at limitlesstcg.com/translations, but no translation is needed for Raichu here. 130 HP on a stage 1 is nice. That is what we're looking for, so, you know, good one, Raichu. Retreat cost of 1 is nice, but then again, the Raichu that I loved so much from X and Y had free retreat, so, you know, buck up, Raichu. Of course, it also had 40 less HP, so I'll let you be the judge of that one. And the weakness to fighting is not ideal, because stuff like Morpeko's looking really good. Incidentally, I think all the Pokemon in this video are weak to fighting. So yeah. What does it do? 1 colorless energy, 40 damage. It's just not enough. I mean, it's enough to get a Ditto Prism Star, which is fine, but it's a stage 1. So okay, you go first, your opponent drops a Ditto, they don't have time to evolve it, and on your second turn you can get them. But even bearing that in mind, it's just not enough. And look, it's a lightning Pokemon, so you've got Electro Power. You can do extra damage using Electro Power. So it could be 70. But then you're using your Electro Power. I am fine with this, but I want a basic lightning Pokemon that can do 60. I know that's asking for a lot, but I don't care, I still do. I mean, honestly, Tapu Koko V for 1 lightning energy does 20 damage and draws 2 cards. I'd rather just be using that. Sorry. As for the main attack, 2 lightning, 1 colorless energy, and you do 120 damage. Which again is fine, but it's just not enough. Like, what if you come against the Naganadel? Which sees a lot of play, incidentally. You're not getting a KO. What if you come against a Hooper, which sees a lot of play, and as I said in my video the other day, I think is only going to see more as time goes by. You're not doing enough. What if someone's playing Boswell to counter all these Morpeko decks? You're not doing enough. And yes, Electro Power, but I don't want to be relying on Electro Power. In terms of getting the energy on, we've got the old Thunder Mountain Tapu Koko Prism Star combination. But if I'm using that on a Tapu Koko V, I'm doing 200 damage. If I'm using that on a Zera or a GX, I'm doing 160 damage. If I'm using that on a Pikachu and Zekrom, I'm doing 150 damage and accelerating free energy. And I know they're not single prize Pokemon, but they're also not evolutions. Sorry, Raichu. But hey, how about that Galvantula, eh? 100 HP on a stage 1 is low, but to be fair, for Galvantula, it's not bad. It's more than it had back in Team Up. Retreat cost of 1 is nice. And the attack, 1 lightning, 1 colorless energy, 60 damage. Flip a coin if heads paralysis. And this I can kind of get behind. I like this a lot more than I like Raichu. Now, usual rule here, when I'm talking about flip a coin if heads paralysis, we don't have Victini rotated out, boo, etc. But 60 damage with a chance of paralysis is good. We've all played 10 damage with a chance of paralysis. I mean, Dynamo's the example I usually give. It's a stage 1 and it's for 2 energy, but then we got Thunder Mountain and Tapu Koko. You only need 1 of those. It's not the most expensive one ever. And if you can keep flipping heads, this is actually quite nice. We don't have Guzma and Ace Roller anymore, so we have just a little bit less switching in general. Although we do see quite a few decks playing a skateboard, which will of course allow for retreat even when you're paralyzed, which is a little bit sad. I do like this though. I do think this is a really nice attack. I think it's going to be really fun in pre-releases. I think 60 with paralysis on a coin flip is good. Is it good enough to come against these big Pokemon V and tag teams and all of that? Maybe. I suspect it's a little bit underpowered. But if you want a flip a coin if heads paralysis attack, you can do an awful lot worse than Galvantula. So moving into colourless Pokemon, we need to start with my boy Snorlax. And look, we've all gotten very excited about Snorlax V Max. It has proven to be one of the best cards in the Sword and Shield expansion. It's seen a huge amount of play all over the place. It's a great card. And look, this Snorlax got adorable art. It's just not very good. 150 HP on a basic is good. We like 150 HP on a basic. You know, that's more than we see from a bunch of stage 1s. It's more than we see from a bunch of stage 2s, to be honest with you. HP is amazing. And it's got a retreat cost of 4, which means you can search it out with Pokemaniac. You can add buff padding to actually put it up to 200 HP. And 200 HP on a non-GX single prize Pokemon, non-V I suppose I should say nowadays, is very good. There's a lot to like here. But the attacks just aren't good enough. 3 colourless energy, 80 damage. 4 colourless energy, 130. It's not an evolution Pokemon, so we're not going to be using triple acceleration energy. And being a colourless Pokemon means we can use Welder. We can use Malamar. We can do whatever we want in terms of accelerating energy. But there's just better options. You know, I know 130 will take out the bigger Pokemon that are non-GX stage 1s like Naganadel and Hooper. But, I find it very hard to get excited about this. It's just not doing very much damage. It's so much energy for what you're actually getting out of it. Just makes me a little bit sad. I mean, the one from Unbroken Bonds has 150 HP. But for free energy, it can do 180. Now, only to a tag team, admittedly. But it also heals 10 damage between turns. And I don't really like this any more than the one from Unbroken Bonds. I actually like it quite a bit less. Sorry, Snorlax, I still love you. But we can have a look at Drampa. Maybe Drampa can be good. 130 HP is pretty much what we're looking for from a basic. That's a realistic goal. And 2 colourless energy, 80 damage, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Now look. The 2 energy's good. 2 energy means Tapu Koko and an energy attachment. 2 energy means Welder. There's a lot of ways to pay this. It would mean double colourless energy, but double colourless energy rotated, so that is somewhat of a moot point, I think would be a polite way to say it. But 80 damage on a basic is alright. When we were talking Raichu, I said 40 on a stage 1, well you gotta wait a turn to evolve, and then it's only 40, you're not getting enough KOs, etc. But when we look at Drampa, I go, well, 80 will get the vast majority of evolving Pokemon. I mean, you could look at something like Q-Font. Is that how you pronounce it? Maybe. And that's got 100 HP. That's about the only relevant basic that you're not going to be KOing. Even stuff like Poipole coming in at 70 HP, you're getting a nice, easy one-hit KO. So here you can go, you've had a turn, Welders start KOing basics, and I love that. But you got to discard the top 2 cards of your deck. No! A basic Pokemon that for a double colourless energy can start KOing basics straight away, I'm all in favour of. But when I've got to muck around using stuff like Welder, and then I've got to discard the top 2 cards of my deck, I very quickly get to a stage where I'm just going, no, I've had enough of this. I ain't got the patience for it. Again, that's not to say it's a bad Pokemon. It's a good card. You know, it's a basic that can easily start KOing other basics. There's a lot to like here. But the reality of it is, it's just not good enough when you build in the fact that we don't have double colourless energy, i.e. just 1 energy attachment, and we got to muck about South Milling. No, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this one is not filling me with joy. That's not to say these cards are bad. I think there is absolutely something to love in Drampa, and I think there is absolutely something to love in Galvantula. The other 2 maybe not so much. I don't think they're going to be great cards, but in pre-releases, in limited formats, or in weirder decks, I can see these coming out. I can see these seeing a bit of love. I can see these getting some play. But I'd like to know what you can see. I'd like to know what you think about all these. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.